Well, good afternoon. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until freedom comes. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your happy host. I love being on the radio. I just love doing this. And guess what? Summer is just about over. Now, if you live in Texas, maybe it's not. But if you're living in the Pacific Northwest, the weather is going to change. And so I'm a fall lover. I can't wait to see the leaves change. I got Mr. Rye here. He'll tell us if he's a fall lover or a summer lover. Which one are you, a fall lover or a summer lover?
I must admit, I like the warmer weather and the longer days.
Well, but he ain't going to Texas. He said we're not moving to Texas.
No, I didn't say not the Satan days. I said warm days. You know, Texas hot as hell. So no, I don't know. I definitely don't want none of that. But you know, being child is born in Sweetport, Louisiana, Charity Hospital on the colored side, and came to Seattle when I was 10 years old. So I remember a whole bunch of summer nights we had the block of ice and the fan, our air conditioning.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of brothers and sisters from down south know what I'm talking about if they were back there during the day.
Block of ice. When I grew up with my first 10 or 12 years, we had an ice box. So
yeah.
The Iceman used to come.
The Iceman had to come. That's how we got the ice.
I had an ice box, and my grandmother never could say refrigerated. The rest of her life, it was always go get me something out the ice box.
We had an ice box until I was about 5 or 6, and then we got a refrigerator.
High cotton.
It was high cotton. Yes, indeed.
Until I was about 12 years old, and still cutting wood. So anyway, all that stuff keeps us having the resilience for what's going on in the day. So I know you want to come on and talk about what's going on in your world and a little bit about that.
Well, the day is 9/11, and I still have a lot of questions about the perpetrators of one of the greatest domestic terrorist crimes committed in this country. How 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudis. And yet the only planes flying on 9/11 were Saudi planes flying out of America.
That's right.
And, usually the United States will be vigorously after to retaliate against any kind of terrorism like this, but they didn't do that. And then later on down the line, you see where 45's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, goes over there, leaves with $4 billion. But yet they want to chase Hunter Biden to smear Joe Biden. And I don't know, he had a gun and some drugs or something, but he was not in the government. He did not work for the White House.
No, he was not an elected official either.
But Jared Kushner wasn't an elected official, but he was on the White House staff.
Yes, he was.
He spoke for the White House. And so in the Middle East was his assignment. So I see he spent probably more time in Saudi than he did anywhere else, because he's able to go and leave with $4 billion. And it's amazing. And I know that the Democrats say they're focused on policy issues and stuff. But when you have a criminal act that glaring, if somebody's going to go after Hunter Biden, then they need to put up Jared Kushner need to be on the block right now for being a member of the White House staff and going and having a relationship with the Saudis. And then a day after they leave the White House, he goes and gets $4 billion. That needs to be looked at. I'm very concerned with the fact we have this good relationship, the United States do, in spite of what their people did. Because I'm wondering, what are the relatives of the 3,000 people? It's more than that, because 2,000 more have died since then from other illnesses attributed to 9/11. I mean, what would your relatives be thinking about this close relationship with Saudi Arabia? They're jacking up the oil prices. You've sold them enough weapons. So the next time they want to do something, they'll kill 300,000 instead of 3,000. And because they seem to be able to do whatever they want to do. I'm just at a loss for how this could happen. Because I know the kind of punishment black men get in this country for doing a lot less than that. And they haven't even talked bad to the Saudis. But I also want to talk about a hero in my family. My brother Jackie Rye, his wife, Dijean Farrar, was in New York City modeling when 9/11 happened. And she was a registered nurse and also has a master's in health administration. And she went down to assist the injured now 9/11. She doesn't want to talk about it, and she probably don't want me to say anything. but she suffers from post-traumatic stress syndrome by seeing that being there. But thank God for having the skills and expertise to go down and be willing to jump into the fray and help some people that needed help. And I can't compliment her enough for that. Diane Farrar is a hero for doing what she did. And hopefully that, one of these days, maybe President Biden or somebody will, or Senator Murray or Senator Cantwell, or Congressman Adam Smith will bestow some kind of award or honor acknowledgement on her for what she did. And right. I just think that's just fair because she was there and she used her expertise, jumped into the fray and helped a lot of people survive. So I really think that needs to be acknowledged. It's been 22 years, but it's never too late. You always hear about military veterans getting the Medal of Honor 50 years after they saved some people. So it's right.
Sometimes even after they passed on.
It's been 22 years, and I want to make sure that my sister-in-law is acknowledged for what she did during 9/11 in New York City. Went from a modeling studio to the battlefield and used her skills to help some people stay alive. So I think that's very worthy. So I just want folks to know that she doesn't want to talk about it, but I'm proud of what she was able to do. And I know that I talked to my brother because a couple of people in the media wanted to interview her. And I could check with my brother Jackie. He said, "No, don't do that." She's taking a walk in the woods. It brings back some bad memories to her. And I've been in a situation like that, in that kind of environment. I mean, it's just mind-blowing what it looked like. And to seeing body parts and people laying all everywhere. And then you step right back around, and the same people that did that to you are now your best friends in the Middle East. It's hard for me to understand where America's going with its policies. Because like I said, Black men get punished a lot more severe than that. And they sure didn't kill no 3,000 people. Okay.
Well, they have a brother law for us. I mean, we've experienced that when we were doing a deal with Mr. Branch over Branchville. So there's a brother law, and the brother law is absolutely different, and all of that type of stuff. So anyway, I know you said that you are traveling. I mean, you're going to be traveling, going out of town to go. Yeah,
the Congressional Black Caucus is the 20th through the 24th, which is starts next week. I'll be attending that. My daughter Angela, she's on two of the boards: Political Action Committee, the Congressional Black Caucus Political Action Committee, and the Congressional Black Caucus Institute Board. And that's Congressman Benny Thompson chairs that committee. And he also is the one that has the events in Mississippi every August. I missed the last two, and I don't plan on, hopefully, God willing, I don't miss any more, because it's an area, a time where it's kind of more relaxed. Back in D.C. right now, I'll see CBC members at socials, but they have 1,000 constituents there. So the constituents got to be in line first, and I understand that. So I'm going to try to talk to some of them over the next couple of weeks and air it on Urban Forum Northwest. Locally, people have been talking about this $200 million that was appropriated last year to go into Black communities across the state, I guess 6 counties. And I checked in with one of the people who helped organize the whole plan. And to date, none of the money has been dispersed. And also concerned about a plan that one of the public state agencies has, Department of Enterprise Services and State Public Purchasing Agent. And they also do a lot of contracting for the state. And they have a new program called the EDGE program. And they said you have to be in business for 4 years. So during the National Association of Minority Contractors, I remember a meeting on last Thursday, I raised a question with the public officials. What about all the Black folks who were ran out of business that have their expertise? They've been in business for 15 or 20 years. We had North Permanent for 25 years.
25 years.
In 2021, Black firms did 0.18%. In 2022, with the governor's executive order, we did 0.22%. How many Black businesses do you think that have the capacity is going to jump into public contracting when they see other Blacks not getting anything? So I want them to amend this program to include Black folks who've been ran out of business, and it needs to really require Marshall plans. There needs to be some investment made in the Black folks who've been ran out of business, who have family-owned businesses, who are not able to pass it on from son to daughter, a mother to son. That whole network was dissipated. because of the discrimination that went on and the fact that you could not get Merrick Garland to enter from the Justice Department to investigate, even though we had the documentation, had support from Congresswoman Benny Thompson, Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland, Senator Patty Murray, Congressman Adam Smith, all asking the Justice Department to investigate the discrimination against Black folks in Washington State. And you know what? We haven't heard a peep in 2 years.
But they don't care.
Story. I mean, really, different story when Black folks are being discriminated. The Justice Department has no teeth. As a matter of fact, the Justice Department sent the racial discrimination complaint down to the Department of Transportation. And as far as I'm concerned, civil rights, and you got a civil rights division with a Black woman over it, Kristen Clark, and you get these numbers and you can't do anything about it. So
they don't care.
Harm is had on the Black community and the Black business community. And you're going to come up with a program. We've got been in business for 4 years. Well, some people have been in business for 20 years, and due to discrimination, they got ran out of business. So all that experience don't count, and they don't need no training. They need opportunities. So hopefully,
well, but you know what, Eddie, we've been in this country a long time, longer than everybody else who gets in the front of the line. They don't care. Every now and then, they give us a bone. What was the Black guy named that was in charge of the Justice Department when Obama was there? They act like they're going to do a little something, but they don't care. I mean, I think we waste our time thinking that they're going to care. I mean, really and truly, they don't care. I mean, the Justice Department some of those people used to be part of the Ku Klux Klan. These people don't care.
And they're Democrats. You know, they always want to put everything on Republicans. I'm saying right now.
But the Democrats got on the right side of this.
Letting Black folks down. And that's why Biden is getting a lukewarm reception from the Black community, because of the fact we know that we deal with at the other side is the devil. We know that, but at the same time, to be disregarded by any party is unacceptable.
But you know what? I don't know what. We probably need to rise up and take our money out of the system and do something else. Because remember, these Democrats right now, the Dixiecrats left the Democratic Party. And this is the Democrats that came after 1964, 65, into the 70s. Into the 70s. This is not the real Democratic Party. The real Democratic Party was the Dixiecrats. They over there in the Republican Party. Okay, and so but everybody trying to they want to preserve. At the end of the day, both parties want to preserve whiteness. One party will give us something. The other party will lock us up. But it's the same agenda. It's the same agenda. And we'd have been better off if we had to follow Jesse, but Jesse wouldn't do it. When the Rainbow Coalition, do you know where it would be today if we had that Rainbow Coalition? We could vote we'd be voting in a block. Just like the NRA does. They vote in a block. They bring the votes. How many years ago you worked on the Rainbow Coalition?
I was a Jackson campaign manager for the first campaign in 1984.
Well, you think about 1984 till now. Just think about that.
We won one district in the 37th, and Jesse Weinberry defeated an incumbent in 1984. He defeated Bill Burns, incumbent from the 43rd district. But in 1988, when Brother Charles Rowland took over, he computerized the campaign, and it made a heck of a difference. We had one delegate, Reverend McKinney, in 84, and we had several delegates, I don't know the exact number, in 88. But the other thing about it is that it encouraged more people of color to get involved and run for office and get involved in because we got a chance to go to the platform committees, the state convention, and
That's right.
We grabbed a lot of knowledge. And then the other thing you look at is that in the 88 campaign, David Dinkins was the New York State chair.
Right.
And Lawrence Doug Weiler was the Virginia State chair. And a year or two later, Doug Weiler defeated the incumbent mayor, Rudy Giuliani, defeated him to become mayor of New York. And Lawrence Weiler, Doug Weiler, won the governorship of Virginia.
Right.
And you look at how far backwards we're going.
See, my point is that we gave up something that would give us power today. And that's what sometimes we do. Really and truly, we want these. They don't care about us. They really don't care. It's about them staying in power, but they don't care about us.
Well,
But
you
I
look at
care
the
about
fact
you,
that,
and I like,
that
I care about you, and I know you're going to go back to DC and have, you're going to be bringing back some good news for us, so hey, I look forward to, bringing you back on when you come back and to tell us about all the good news and all the people you talk with, and enlighten us about what they're doing back there, especially the Black Caucus.
oh, absolutely. I will definitely do that.
All right, then you continue to have a great day.
Okay,
and I'll
thank you very much.
Talk to you when you get back. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Ram Walden. We'll be right back.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Walking your talk? Take us with you. The KKNW app makes streaming our programming easy on your phone or tablet.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. Thank you for that song, Eric. We all need somebody to lean on. I mean, we can't do this. We can't make it through the world without it. We can't make it without other people. I don't care what we've been taught. It just doesn't work without having somebody to lean on. That's why we have parents. That's why we come here as little babies and grow up, because we come here leaning on someone. And that's really what the world is all about. We have to wake up to that experience. My name is Reverend Walden, and it's my joy to be on air. I want to talk a little bit about the consent decree. The Judge Robart, partially, more than partially, sign off on the on releasing the Seattle Police Department, but he held back two other areas that was not in compliance. That was the crowd control, crowd management, because we saw that out there during the 2020 during the CHOP, and also police accountability. And there's some issues around the contract. And so one of the things we really found out and really know is that the Justice Department cannot change culture. And police has a culture of not ever wanting to give an inch, and they don't want to change. And so today there's an article in Erica Barnett media that she puts out, and it has the voice. It has the video of a police officer talking with Mark Solon and about the young lady who got killed by the police officer as he was crossing the street, and the things that he had to say. No mother should have to hear that. I mean, it was just so unconscionable that he would say these things about another human being. And the main thing he said was, it's the whole it says just it said the headline is just write a check for $11,000. She was 26. She had limited value, and the police officers were laughing. Mark Solon, who's president of the Guild, and this officer that you called in, that I was talking about the pedestrian that was killed by a fellow police officer. And just to think that we paid these officers, that we paid them, that they're not public servants, they're public employees. Public servants don't laugh about people who just got killed. They don't laugh about that. And this morning I got up just thinking, I was thinking about them. I said, man, I was thinking about their mental health, about, all these escalating of violence in Seattle. They called to the scene. I mean, they see the destruction of a human body that's been shot by somebody. And I was thinking about their mental health. And then when I read this, it's like, wow. I mean, because there's been quite a few people been killed in Seattle today. I mean, this year. But to think about this, it's like, wow. I mean, it kind of eclipsed what I was going to talk about, the, coming Seattle being released from being under the consent decree that's been going on since 2012 as a result of killing of John T. Williams. And he was a wood carver walking across the street with his head down, because a lot of artists are in their head. He had a small wood carving knife. He did not have a knife to harm somebody. And he was just carving. His family has been carving in Seattle and in the Pacific Northwest for 7 generations. And this officer, within 4 seconds for Ian Burke telling John T. Williams to stop, he was dead. It was an out of policy shooting. He absolutely was almost shot in the back. He did have a hearing problem. That didn't come up in the inquest because the inquest only asked was the police afraid for his life and those kinds of questions at that time. And so when you know the facts of the case, and then you think about he was allowed to quit. And Como said that in their reporting that he was fired. He was not fired. He has worked in some place else as a police officer because he was not decertified. The only way they don't work as a police officer in another jurisdiction, they have to be decertified. And Lyon was one of those ways they could get decertified. I think they've changed it a little bit more now. I mean, out of policy shooting, and they don't charge. Dan Satterberg could have charged in that case. It was an out of policy shooting. He was shot almost in the back, but he didn't think he'd get a conviction. See, that's a lot of reasons why they don't charge. They don't think they're going to get a conviction. But to hear these 2 officers laughing and go to Erica Barnett, put in her name and her whole, I think it's called Publicola. It's what it's called, and it comes up. Yeah, it is. It's and you would say yes, Publicola, and it's today, September 11th. So this is like terrible. I mean, it's like, wow, this is awful. And so I think it's time to just have an op-ed piece says the DOJ could not fix could not fix the culture of policing in Seattle. And just talk about the culture. But we paid this guy. These people get paid. And, you can make comments. What can you do? I mean, is there a policy against this? And if it's not, it ought to be one. Laughing because somebody got hurt, because somebody got killed. And to say that that her value, this is what they said to slaves. So, so she was just a value, it was only $11,000. And I can, if you know any history, and I do, I love it. At the slave auction, they would tell you what the value of that human being was, although it wasn't considered human, subhuman. And this young lady was from India. And so they might have been laughing because she was dark. I doubt if they'd have been laughing if it had been a white woman or a white girl. I doubt that they would have humanity for that, even though and her worth might be more than $11,000. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that in this day and age? That someone would be so entrenched in their bias against human beings. And the only people who are human are their family and the people who are involved with the blue line. Everybody else is not human. How can you live in a world that way? Because if you have children, they're going to be encountering other children every day whose parents are not police officers. How can you live in a world that you believe that only your people, your brothers and sisters, as law enforcement, has value? No one else has value. But all creates all that God created has value, and human beings have the capacity to think, to reason, and to make changes in their lives. We're the only species that God made that can do this. We can reason, we can love, we can make changes in the world, and we can do that. And to think that this individual, wow, this individual is laughing at this event. So check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Please check it out, because I think these are things we need to keep up with. Because sometimes the more, as I was telling Mr. Wright early on, sometimes the more things change, the more they stay the same. Because we get the same results sometimes from the Democrats. And I vote Democratic ticket, not because I think they're going to do so much for me, but the Supreme Court judges will be better. That's the only reason why I voted Democratic ticket. Because I know for a fact, I've been here for so long, and so have my ancestors, that the only thing that moves for us is the hand of God. It's not the hand of man. It's the hand of God that moves for us. And I'm not confused, believing that someone else is going to make my life better. Again, I vote for the Supreme Court and for my grandmother. She was born in 1889. She paid taxes all her life. Our taxes went to support the white community, and she never voted. Okay? So that's who I vote for. I vote out of respect and reverence for the people who came before me, and they gave it all. That's who I vote for. Not that I think it's going to magically be better the next day. No, this system is a work in progress. We have not reached that final place yet. And who knows, we might have to, look like people want to take us back somewhere that they don't even know where they want to go. But check that out. And just think about this young lady and her family and what somebody else thought about them as not being human. That absolutely is insane. So, think about that. And think about how much more we all have to offer the world if our soul was ablaze with love. Isn't that amazing? What an amazing world it would be if we were absolutely, we were just ablaze with love. Like Rumi, one of my favorite people, he was a Sufi. And the Sufis talked about the beloved and the beloved. And we are all the beloved and the beloved. We just don't know it yet. So, I keep holding that light, that we as humans will wake up to the fact that we have so much power to do good. Way more power to do good than what we know. So you listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. Take a break and we'll be right back.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Some people know a good thing when they hear it. Alternative Talk 1150.
Oh, good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on air. All right, so I'm going to bring my next guest on. She's been on before. This is Esha Covington from Jacksonville, Florida, where I was born at. And, I have this affinity for Florida. So don't, just give me a little break on that. So I do go to other places also, other than Florida, with other news. How you doing, Miss Covington?
I'm doing great. Harriett, how are you?
Oh, well, I'm good. True transparency. We got the same grandmother. So, it's like, hey, you just put it out there. Sometimes you talk to your family. That's good. That's good. Anyway, it's been a while. I think we haven't talked in a good while. So just wanted to bring you on and let you talk about Jacksonville. And I don't know if you knew any of the victims of that shooting that happened a couple of weeks ago, and the elected official and what's just going on and what's going on in Jacksonville, one of the largest counties in Florida, Duval County.
Yes, I didn't know any of the victims, but in our community, the only stores we have to shop in are Family Dollar and Dollar General. So,
what? You don't have no grocery stores?
No, we do not. The nearest grocery store is about almost 2.5 miles. We have more liquor stores than grocery stores.
So you live in a food desert. Wait. Hold up. You live in a food desert. So because I talked to a lady in Tampa, maybe last year or maybe 18 months ago. She was talking about sometimes people have to catch the bus and it takes them 3 hours to go to the grocery store and come back on the bus. I mean, so Florida has a lot of food deserts. So is that right?
Correct. We live in a food desert, and so for us, Family Dollar and Dollar General is where we go to get our daily staples. So we go to those stores all the time. And the Dollar General is positioned near Flag Street Apartments, which is HUD subsidized slum. And so these people depend on this store. And to my understanding, I talked to one of my customers, there was a lot of people in the store when the shooting occurred. And the lady who got away, the shooter told her she had her baby with her to run. And then he told her again, said, "Didn't I tell you to run? Do you want to live?" And she ran back to those apartments and talked to the people and said she thought her Uber driver was deceased. And in fact, the Uber driver was shot and was deceased. So to us, in the Black community, Family Dollar and Dollar General are an important part of our everyday existence. And it has traumatized a lot of our community because this could have happened to any of us. And
so you shop there too from time to time? Because you got one or two choices that you name.
Absolutely, yes.
But a lot of people don't have public transportation. Go ahead, say what you're saying. I'm sorry.
I used to live 5 minutes from the Dollar General. 5 minutes. And so we depend on those stores. If you look on a map, they are everywhere in our communities. They put a Family Dollar and a Dollar General together and a Dollar Tree together in Grand Park, which is where I grew up with Grandma and Aunt Janet will. Those stores are so important in our community. And to have 3 people murdered in those stores has just left a big hole in our community. And there was, I don't know if you saw in the news, the governor came to Jacksonville and was given the microphone to speak after the shooting occurred, and they were having a healing vigil. I can't get healed over stuff I don't understand. You got to explain to me how the shooter went to Edward Waters College to try to shoot our students. And the security guard saw him on the cameras, but he still was allowed to put on his vest and go down the street to the Dollar General.
He should have been arrested, see.
He should have been arrested. As a matter of fact, Harriett, Edward Waters University has a criminal academy right there. He walked by all of this stuff. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around it, except there was a Jaguars game going on, and I'm just trying to rationalize how this could happen because I know EWU notified Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, but they were out of the area at the games, the football game. So the shooter picked the perfect time.
So when there's a game, all the available staff, law enforcement is at the game. So you don't have, so you have sheriff and so it's no other druid. So Jacksonville police, it's you have police and sheriff and deputies on the sheriff department, or do you just have police?
We just have police in Jacksonville.
Okay, so you don't have a sheriff then, you just have a police chief.
Right. We do have a sheriff.
Yeah, but where's his deputies at? Well, where's his? A sheriff had to have some deputies. Where's his deputies at?
They were. I don't know. Those are the questions that I want answers to. Where was? Because they could also always call him mutual aid. I mean, really and truly, they can always call him mutual aid, even from another county. I mean, sometimes that's what they do, because most places have sheriffs. Unless it's just a small place and they just have sheriffs, but Duval County is big. So you must have a police chief and you must have a sheriff. No, we only have a sheriff.
Okay, so that means you don't have a police department, then you just have a sheriff department.
No,
I'll research it because they're not two in the same. They do the same things in a way, but one territory is usually the county, but Duval County is Jacksonville, so you only have one city in the county. So I'll research that and find that out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The governor showed up to the visual, was given the microphone, and of course people were booing him and did not want to hear what he had to say. And Councilwoman Pittman, she's African American, she told the crowd to be quiet and listen, some verbiage like that, and because he was bringing gifts. And we're still offended by what she said. Like,
yes,
because,
yes.
And our thinking, the governor is inciting this hate against African Americans.
That's right.
With the laws to stop woke act. And he doesn't want real history taught about slavery to our children in the schools. He's come against the transgender community and does not want them to talk about anything about sex or even their sexual orientation. And so he is gutted our community of any real laws that will protect us. And the people in place in the schools, they are afraid to really stand up for the students now, of being, fired or violating these ridiculous laws that he's written. And the governor had a team of people who wrote a little sub bullet to the slavery to say we benefited from slavery. And no one who really knows history can believe we benefited from slavery. And they tried to spin that on and say, like we learned carpentry and we learned how to be blacksmiths. And so the governor showing up was another slap in the face to African Americans.
Yes, it was. It really was. It really, really was. Wow, it was. But for me, it really recognized, I mean, this person who's elected, Pittman, don't understand, or maybe choose not to understand, that what the ruling class does, they inflame the people. I mean, people like him and Trump, they will never, ever, ever pull the trigger. That's what they do, but they would never light the gasoline. Somebody else comes along and light the gasoline. This is what the ruling class does. And this is how white people keep power over poor white people, or they've been so poor brainwashed to believe they can go out and do something. And I mean, but the other thing that I need to wrap my head around, as you can say, cousin, is the fact that he was only 21 or 18. How can you have that much animus against people when you just got here on the planet? If you're just 21, 18, or 21, you just got here.
Right, correct. And the most ironic part to me, they took away affirmative action, which I got great jobs through affirmative action. And Florida's an at-will state. So they
that means you have to. Florida means you have to right to work for nothing. Okay.
Right. And so what they've done is push us back hundreds of years. It'll take reparations for us to recover from being denied access to basic things like gainful employment. And the legislation that he's writing, we got some great legislators. We got State Representative Angie Nixon. She fights really hard in Tallahassee for the African-American community. But our local leaders, they hide their head in the sand, and they take the little pennies instead of really getting in and fighting for a change in Jacksonville. So I don't know if you know, but we have our first woman mayor, Donna Deegan, and she ran on change. But when we watched her transition team, she gave all the high-paying jobs to white Republican males.
Okay, now is she a Democrat or a Republican?
She ran as a Democrat.
She must be a blue dog.
Got all her Republican buddies, white females and white males, and paid them a higher salary than the previous administration and put them in positions of power over us. And I said, wow, I'm on Twitter, so I was like, Donna went and got all the old slave masters and put them over the slaves,
Make sure you send me your handle on Twitter, because I'll communicate with you.
Okay, I will.
Yeah,
and
Go ahead.
So you've got people who say they won't change, and there's no real change in Jacksonville. And so with the governor, like you said, and Trump, and all the this hate rhetoric and laws, listen, they're so strategic. We are not in the conversation, but they are sitting down writing legislation.
Yes.
To prevent us from making gains. And, we've got Attorney Crump fighting, but we need attorneys to get together. Like we sued over the redistricting, and we won on a local level, but they sued over the congressional district, and they won. We need lawyers in Jacksonville and Florida to fight these illegal laws.
Yeah, you need civil rights lawyers. You need some civil rights lawyers. And I know Crump got some, but he might not have enough to do everything. But what you need, you're right. You're right. I mean, Florida, it's amazing how Florida is still the same. I mean, because growing up in segregation, you weren't so beholden. I mean, in my part of segregation, I don't know what it was like in Jacksonville, but I know my grandfather, your grandfather, owned called a filling station in those days, doing segregation. So, so somebody was thriving. Everybody in my community, we had a grocery store. We only went downtown when we wanted to, and we had a school, and of course we had black doctors and lawyer, a black doctor and a dentist. But you're right, absolutely, Harriet. You got some black entrepreneurs here now who understand how important it is for us to create our own economy, That's right. That's what we have to do.
Communities.
That's right.
And share that wealth like we used to. Like I look for black-owned businesses to spend my money. When I came down there, when my grandmother passed away, our grandmother, Adelia Levine, bless her heart. But I wouldn't go to one of those beauty supplies places. I would not do that, because I don't go to places where people who sell products that can't give me a recommendation for my skin or my hair. I don't go to those kinds of places. And like I told one of my cousins that I put some lard on my hair or some olive oil before I go. I'm just too that way. But I think what Jacksonville need is a black economic plan to raise black people out of poverty. Because the whole game of the South is to keep you poor. And then when black people do get a job, a good job, paying job,
then they cross on the other side, and then they become conservative because they got something to conserve. But as long as they're getting food stamps, they don't have nothing to conserve. And so they're organized. And so at this point, they got to figure out how you're going to get the so-called educated elite to realize that their station in life is at jeopardy too. Because if they go back and overturn Percy versus Ferguson, that I'm sure that the illustrious Clarence Thomas is working on, that would put us back in the late 1800s. And so I think they have to educate people about what the law is, and the arbiter of the final say in the law in America is the Supreme Court. And they're working vigorously to take us back. And then that's all. That's the only thing I organize on. I mean, I organize on the fact if you don't wake up, you will find, and everybody else, and they will write us out of history because that's what their plan is. They want to act like we never came. And when we came, all we were murderers and thieves and a drain on the system. That's the plan. I mean, one thing about being raised by old people, you get to see, Delia was wise. Okay, you get to see something. Because they're always telling you something that you don't believe until you live to see it. Is that right?
Right. That's absolutely right. I didn't understand when grandmother would get up and she'd straighten that hair and put it back in that bun and put on that white uniform. She was going to Riverside, I didn't understand. She was a maid, she got paid in daily wages. And so now I understand because she didn't even pay.
And she did the best she could in a racist society that made sure she stayed poor. Didn't matter how many children she had, and they didn't care how she fed them. And then they had the dump over there, the environmental dump that you were drinking bad water. Did not care. See, and it's the same people. It's their descendants. That's what's so ironic, isn't it?
Yes. It's their children who are the same way the parents were trying to keep us back, giving us that hand-me-down, they hand-me-down garments, and the leftovers they didn't need. We can take them home to our family. Yeah, but I'm always inspired because you know what? Those people, they gave so much to us. They went every day. And a lot of times they didn't complain. Their feet hurted. They came hurt. Their feet was hurting. They were tired. For people that was doing that, and in Sanford, it was a different life for me because my grandfather had been working on the railroad, and so my grandmother only did days work occasionally when I came along. And then because we owned our own home at that time. I mean, the whole time I was growing up. But the irony of this is that we're going to organize. We will be organizing in Jacksonville, Florida. We're coming up here. We haven't figured it out yet, but with this technology, we can absolutely begin to empower and educate Black people again. They have to be educated again, and most of us a lot of times we weren't. I mean, for every 25 families that figured it out, you had like 50 families who could not. Poverty, people living in poverty stay in poverty until something happens to lift them out. And that's why. And then when other people get lifted out, they don't do like Mary McLeod Bethune says, lift as you climb. You bring somebody with you. And sometimes they don't work out, but that don't mean you're not going to bring somebody with you. You just keep doing it, see? Right. And then you build a whole cadre of people who are bringing somebody with. It's like a lot of families, you educate one child and that child educate the next child and and that kind of thing. See, I'm inspired by your work. I want you to know that. Thank you.
I'm inspired by the work and the work that you all are doing down there, with one hand tied behind you. Now is it public transportation for people to get to the dollar store, or do they have to take an Uber?
They can Uber. They do use public transportation, but not a lot. They use a lot of Uber and Lyft to get around in our area. And
that's terrible. I mean, so it's so you got buses, but they don't run often. Is that right?
Yeah, they don't run good. They really not in our areas. So they're not.
Yeah, but do they run better in the white folks area? Do they run better in the affluent area? The affluent people all got Maseratis. They don't need the bus.
Yeah, they do. They run better, and I wanted to leave a word of encouragement. When grandmother would get up with me and I was getting ready to go to work, I worked across town, and I had to catch 2 buses and leave from the neighborhood on the first bus. Grandma would always say, you could make it. And I want to say that to people. We can make it. We may have to figure it out, but we can make it, and we will make it through this.
We will make it through it because we the cavalry. Don't think the cavalry is coming. We the cavalry. We's be the cavalry. Because our ancestors left a roadmap for us. So we's be the cavalry. Ain't nobody coming to get us, baby.
Right.
And the other folks, the evangelicals think they're going to get raptured out. Yeah, raptured out just like all of us who have lost family members. They're going to lay down and die, just like everybody else did. Who's going to come and rapture out people who don't love other people? The irony of that. I'm just inspired by your work. I am.
Okay.
To keep it up, and like you say, you're not going to give up. And I'm not going to give up either. So, hey, we'll just stay together and we'll talk soon again. And I want to thank you and tell Lorraine I said hello, and I'll be talking to her. And we'll get it together, okay?
Thank you. And we appreciate all the work you're doing in Seattle. And you've been a great inspiration.
Well, we got a couple more minutes. Wait, we got about 2 more minutes. So what would you want to say?
Okay.
What would you want to say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just would want to say that you're an inspiration to me personally with the work you're doing in Seattle. And it's encouraged me to continue to fight locally here.
Yes.
And to stand because,
yes.
Sometimes you just need to look through our family model and you see fight.
Yes.
And people,
yes.
We win in this family. When we go to war, we win.
We win. That's right. We do win. Okay, tell the truth. Because we got that. We got that. The Levine. You got the Levine, and you got Deacon Delia, and I got Delia. Deacon Delia on one side, and the Waldens on the other side. And that's a fantastic team, and we're a winning team. And so you just keep encouraging. We'll be talking soon.
All right. God bless.
All right. God bless you too. Thank you. You've been listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. Take care. Just take care. Stay in love with life. Stay in love with everything you do. Let love guide your life. All right. Take care. See you next time. Oh, talk to you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.